Hello everybody, Crow here, and if you're wondering why this is being filmed a little bit differently, it's because I actually am using my Vita to film this. Never really used the camera or the video thing on it. I mean, it's not the greatest quality, but it's a feature that's there mainly for, gaming or maybe even Skype purposes. But since I can record, I'm going to give it a go here and see how it works. Also, it allows me to swivel around the room and make everybody dizzy while I make this video. Anyway, this is a response to MaximumRD's Open Tag, which is, do you care about backwards compatibility? And as he said in his video, he started this out on Facebook, and I actually made a couple of comments on Facebook, and I'll just kind of go over, well, I don't know if I'll go over exactly what I said there because I don't have it up and I don't really remember what I said, but in the short of it, do I care about backwards compatibility? No, not really. If I'm going to buy a new system, I'm going to buy it because of the new system games, and I'm not going to buy it because of the games I already have. And honestly, if I have a collection of games and I buy the new system, I'm not going to be playing those old games on the new system. That's not why I bought the new system for. And I'm kind of weird in the way that I like to play the games on the systems they were originally intended for. I mean, it just seems weird to me to play a PlayStation 1 game on a PS3 or a PlayStation 2 game on a PS3 if you have that ability. Now, that feature is nice, to have, but only as long as it's on a hardware level. The Game Boy Advance actually had the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy in it. So whenever you plugged that Game Boy game, it wasn't being emulated. It was actually running the same hardware. Now, when the DS came out, they retained the hardware to run the Game Boy Advance games, but they took out the hardware to actually play the original Game Boy games, which is why those games don't work in the DS. As for the PlayStation 3, I know people have been making comments how it used to play PlayStation 2 games, but that's only the half of it. The very original PlayStation 3 models actually had the PS2 hardware in it, and as a cost-cutting measure, they took that out and then relied on software emulation for the PS2. And I believe the PS1 games were being software emulated to begin with, but they took out the PS2 hardware, which is one of the reasons why the current PS3s won't play PS2 games. Now, as for future systems coming out, the Wii U, the PlayStation 4, or the Orbis, or the next Microsoft system, whatever, the next Xbox, whatever the hell they wind up calling that, the Wii U, I think will definitely be compatible with Wii games. Although I don't know if it probably won't be compatible with GameCube games. I mean, they've already released a version of the Wii, I believe in Europe, that doesn't play GameCube games, and that was just a cost-saving method because they removed the GameCube ports and everything on it. And I think that if they had left those ports in, they wouldn't have had to do anything. I think that if you did put a GameCube game in the Wii and they didn't disable it, the hardware would have played it just fine, because the Wii is essentially just a hyped-up, ramped-up GameCube. That's why you can play GameCube games in the Wii. Basically, no problem. You just needed the ports to be able to plug in GameCube controllers and have the memory card and everything. Now, for the PS4, the Orbis, or the next Microsoft Xbox, I highly doubt that they're going to do backward compatibility with those systems. And the reason for that is because if they make those systems backwards compatible with games you already have, they can't sell you downloaded digitized versions of those games. So, you have a massive PS3 library. In the future, the PS4 comes out. Even though they could make it backwards compatible, I think they're going to opt not to, because somewhere down the line, maybe PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, I think they're estimating it coming out in 2014 or something like that. So who's to say in 2016 or 17 they might want to start offering PS3 titles as downloads. But if they had it backwards compatible with the PS3, they wouldn't be able to, to sell you those games. You might be able to go get those at a used game store and actually just play them, and they wouldn't see any profits from digital downloads anyway. Same thing with backwards compatibility with like PS1, PS2. I don't think it'll be compatible with any of those because they would rather have you buy those titles in their digital store and just do it that way. And it's all about money. It's like that's one of the things I've noticed. Like going all the way back to like Animal Crossing on the GameCube, the original Animal Crossing. If you've ever played it, you can actually find NES games to play emulated through Animal Crossing. Now, subsequent games of Animal Crossing, Wild World on the DS, and the one on the Wii, no games in it. You can't find any games. Why? Because the Wii shop they would rather you go into the Wii store and actually buy those games instead of just offering them for free. And that's one of the reasons in Smash Brothers, Smash Brothers Brawl, they have demos of the games instead of just the whole games. They was like, oh, you could play Metroid for 5 minutes. Oh, gee, thanks a lot. Why is that? Because they want you to go to the store and download those games. So that's why I think that in the future you're not going to be able to see, backwards compatibility so much in the future. I think the Wii will be backwards compatible. The Wii U will be backwards compatible with the Wii simply because it has the name Wii in it. If I don't think if it was going to be backwards compatible, I think they would have named it something else. But I wouldn't be surprised if they took that out for whatever reason. Honestly, in the future, I think backwards compatibility will be a thing of the past. I probably rambled on way too long on this already. You know how I feel about it, so I'm going to leave this as a video. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Hope I made you dizzy, and see you all next time. Bye.
Constantly out of his league, man.